You're listening to Girl Talk
Y Más, a podcast created to empower women through all stages of life.
I'm Marisa.
And I'm Canela.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to follow us
on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Girl Talk y Más.
Let's chat. Welcome to Girl Talk y Más, episode 13. We are on our way. This is so much fun. I'm so glad that we're taking time to still, settle down and do this
Talk
podcast.
about, exactly.
It kind of takes us away from, the hustle and bustle of, work, and then now the holidays are coming, so I'm, super stressed out, times 10. Aren't you?
I agree.
Are you getting there?
I'm getting there, but at the same time, it's more of, the traditions that I want to instill now as my children are young, because I'm like, oh, I gotta, I have on Pinterest all these things that I want to do for Thanksgiving and little activities that I want, but then you get going and you're like,
but you know what, girl, let me tell you right now, because my daughter is 13, and let me tell you, everything that we did when she was 5, 6, 7 years old, I'm so glad, I'm so freaking glad I did them, because she's grown up now, and I told her this, you need to believe in the spirit of Christmas, believe in what it is, believe in the whole aspect of it. And so I just think that right now, especially the ages that your kids are, you need to take them time to bake those cookies. I mean, the littlest things, and I'm going back in pictures now. Yeah, I mean, we made Christmas cookies on Christmas Eve every year, and Mariah made Christmas cookies. We we had a tradition. We always went to the movies because I'm a single mom, and it was just me and her. Everything. So I had my baby, so I'm like, well, I'll take her to the movies. There's always a good movie that comes out on Thanksgiving Day, and then we would come home and put up Christmas, which I am putting up Christmas on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you already know. You established that.
Yeah, we already know.
In September.
Yeah, ¿verdad? I know. I'm so excited. So what kind of traditions do you want to start with the kids? What are some of the things that you're going to start?
Well, we did receive the elf 2 years ago by my aunt, Tassi and Beto. They gave us the elf, and we moved to Washington and we couldn't find it.
Ay, pobrecita.
So it kind of just, so then they were like, hey, did you guys do the elf tradition? And I'm like, no, because, the military moves your stuff, and then by the time you find your stuff, it's already passed,
so
But this year, I told my husband, hey, the Christmas stuff, the elf is there. I want to start these traditions because, like you said, they grow up really fast, but at the same time, it's whoa, I have time for maybe 2 really cute traditions.
Yeah, I mean, just narrow them down to what you have time to do. But I mean, even the little things of, making the cookies and, maybe making a Christmas list and just mailing it. We would always go to Macy's and mail them in the big mailbox that says it goes to the North Pole. Just things like that.
Yes, and I think that's really sweet that they still do that.
Yeah, and she remembers that. She remembers mailing her Christmas list every year, and I just think those traditions are so great. So so that's fun. We're getting ready for that, which is, it's early, but it's not, because it's I think there was I seen a post that said there's 9 Mondays until Christmas or something like that, which doesn't seem like a lot.
Yes, not at all.
But we did post on Girl Talk about self-care, because I think with everything happening, we still need time for self-care. I know I'm guilty of not taking super good care of myself. I've been working out every day this week, and I'm really proud because
get it, girl.
I'm that's what I've been doing as self-care for me, and it's really been helping me just stay motivated, even if I do a half hour each night. But we asked everybody to kind of share what their self-care is. But what are you doing? What do you do for Elisa to after coming home from Canela and all that?
Yes, so some of my self-care routines include I actually, when I get home, I start prepping dinner and I get it going. But once everything's baking or cooked or halfway done, and I know that I can leave the rice, el arroz, on that 15-minute mark.
That 15-20 minute window you got. Go
I
for
just,
it.
and Elisana's playing in her room and everybody's taken care of. I like to go outside and just like watch the sunset
Oh, I
come
love
down
that.
on my
I love it.
backyard. I have
You
a
have a
bunch
really
of
pretty deck.
flowers.
Yeah, you have a pretty
Yes,
deck
I have
and
a
your
bunch of
tree.
flowers and hummingbirds come in the morning sometimes.
Oh, it's so
So,
pretty.
but in the evening times, it's like more like of the bugs but it's
Hmm.
still really, really, it's like Texas weather. It's like
You
you
don't
don't
get
get
this.
it anywhere else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you don't.
that's kind of what I do because it's kind of hard. You're going 100 miles an hour, you're driving, and then, you feel like a sheep, because you're
Yeah.
doing this routine, but you're not really doing that, but you kind of feel like it. And
Yeah.
I think it's really positive to see like nature, and I think it's very
Calming. It's like a calming thing.
exactly, and it
Mhm.
just kind of like makes me, like detach like from like electricity, the phone, and
Mhm.
it's nice to just like see the sunset, and then I carry on. But that's kind of one of the things that I like to do. And then I also have a body scrub, a DIY body scrub that I like to use
Ooh.
for some extra TLC, and that's actually I get Texas honey and some just plain old white sugar, and I make a scrub for my. You can use it anywhere you like. I like to use it on my toes and
Oh my
around my
gosh. We're
chest.
gonna share that, guys. We're gonna get Elisa's body scrub and we'll post it on our Instagram and Facebook so that you guys can get the recipe and make it because that sounds really cool. I need to do that.
Yes, and actually it exfoliates, especially with the winter time, and
Mhm.
it's just like an extra little TLC that I like to do.
That's perfect. I love
Yeah.
that. So yeah, so a lot of our friends and our followers engaged with us on this topic because I think everybody can agree that self-care is so important. So Myra Mommy Coach, she commented on our Instagram and she was like, I love this. Forgiveness for sure. Journaling, meditation, manifestation, also time on my planner for working out, cooking a healthy meal, and treating myself to coffee. Like those are all like
Yes,
easy,
seriously.
simple things that you can do just for yourself. So thank you, Maida, for sharing. But those are all easy things that you can do that are just like a little something to just make you, feel like, oh, this is just for me. Like I'm just gonna do this just for me. And it was interesting because we did get a lot of feedback about pushing the negativity out of your life,
Yes.
which I recently had dealt with, and it does tremendous things for you. Like just letting go of whatever it is, a something, of someone, or of a situation, or whatever it is that's like hovering over you. And our
Or
friend,
toxic
yeah,
nonetheless, like has toxic essence, like you have no business.
no,
Make it kick rocks.
exactly, and that's exactly what our friend Mika said. She was like, self-care sometimes means to delete, unfollow, and telling people to kick rocks. And I was like, amen, girl. I was like, yes, because that's exactly what I had to do this week, and it felt so good to just be away from that negativity. And sometimes just doing that move does mountains for yourself. Just gets yourself in such of a better place. So some of the other things that we had, my family feliz said, "Oh man, that sounds amazing. I feel great just to get in the shower." And I'm like, "That's so funny because my best friend on Facebook said, my 10 minutes in the bathroom when I get to go to the bathroom is like my alone time." And she has two like tiny ones, like 3 and 4 years old. So cool because it's your shower, you're like, taking everything in and letting everything out, and it's your alone time, and I think that's awesome that you can take any little moment and make it a self-care moment.
Yes, and to actually say that you deserve like these 15 minutes
Mhm.
uninterrupted, or sitting down in the sitting in a quiet place or a yard drinking coffee in the morning, like
Yeah.
MG Custom Printing said.
Mhm.
uh, just little things that help us move forward and not feel so like we have the whole world on our shoulders.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for sharing your self-care moments. We're gonna definitely put Canela's body scrub out there so you guys can make it and tell us what you think about it. But that
Oh, they're gonna love it.
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. So the Latin Grammys just happened, and I'm gonna recap that for us because
Okay,
I
sounds good.
did I did do a Twitter chat type of thing with some of the other podcasts that were engaging with us, and it was really fun. We were just live tweeting during the show, and kind of
Mhm.
saying what we thought or everything like that. So I just kind of want to go over a little bit because, it's our music and mi gente and, that kind of thing. So it was just so nice to see. Of course, Despacito took like Song of the Year and Record of the
Yes.
Year. And it was so cool because they had Victor Manuel and Luis Fonsi do a collaboration. So it was like a salsa version of Despacito with Victor Manuel. Oh my God, it was the most like badass song because it was just like an impromptu thing. But it came out really good. A few of the other winners, the best urban music was Residente, which he is a new up and coming hip hop artist, rapper, and he has a good record called Guerra. And so you need to check him out because he's pretty sweet. He's pretty cool.
And
And
my vintage goddess, she was
yes,
nominated for five, but she
she
only
was
won one. But
nominated.
we'll take it.
I know, but you know what? Her performance, which is we're talking about Mon Laferte, because that's
Mhm.
Elisa loves her, and she actually went to her concert when she came here in San Antonio, and we've talked about her on previous podcasts.
Yeah.
But her performance was one of my favorite performances. Like it was just colorful and beautiful. And if you haven't had a chance to go see it, I mean, obviously you can go back to LatinGrammys.com or on Univision.com and see all the performances. But her performance was so colorful. She had like a big rose like on the stage, and she had all these flowers like behind her, and
Mhm.
she's so beautiful, and she just
And I
looked.
bet you she just won everybody over
I think
because
she
that's what
really
she
did.
does.
I think she really did. She seems like she's so sweet, and she just like her music, like her personality comes out in her music like so much. Like she has, she just doesn't have any shoes on, and she's dancing in this beautiful dress with the flowers in her hair, and she sings so pretty. Like her voice is magical. Like I
Yes.
have not seen her like that up.
Enchanting. It's not only her, like it's her and her band, like her
Yeah.
whole band, like they put on this magnificent show. Like honestly, that's why I kept bragging about her so much
Yes.
because live, it was just like she just won me over live. Like I loved her music, like just by listening to it, over the internet and
Mhm.
on her website, but actually seeing her live was just so magnificent, and I'm really glad that they were recognized and they won. And I followed them last night all on their Snapchat and the
Yes.
Instagram, and they were partying hard.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were
So
partying hard.
yeah, she was.
Well deserved though,
Well,
of
yeah. I
course,
mean, I'm glad they
to
had
all
her
the
as.
winners.
Yeah, I'm glad they had her as one of the performances. I mean, she was up against a lot of like, she was up against Shakira and Nicki Jam and all the other people that had huge albums this year. But she did awesome. And but one group that won me over, and I did not know who they were until last night. And they won Best Ranchero Mariachi Album for their album is called Las Caras Lindas. They are an all-female mariachi group, and their name is Flor de Toloache,
Wow.
and they are amazing. Like you need to go over to our Facebook right now and check out their impromptu moment that they had pre-show to the Grammys because they started singing with another artist and it was amazing. And I had to go look them up. Like I instantly had to I was like, we need to know who these
Who
ladies
are these
are. Like who
females?
are these people? So who they are an all-woman multinational group that took on mariachi tradition with a fresh, no prisoners attitude while incorporating their own musical influences, bachata, R&B, Americana into it.
Oh my god.
The minute you hear them, you're going to be like, "Oh, I'm in. I'm a fan." I was instantly a fan. I instantly tweeted them. I instantly like shared their performance. It's beautiful. And they're all about empowering women. They're from New York City.
Woo.
They're just amazing. So you guys got to go check them out. Flor de Toloache, and they are amazing. So that was my takeaway from the Grammys. I'm glad I watched it, even if I just to see them and see them win, and of course to see Nicki Jam perform, because
Of course.
because I
First
love
and
me.
foremost, to see
First and
Nicky Jam.
foremost, I was like, everybody, don't talk to me, don't do nothing to me. I need to watch Nicki Jam right now.
I won. I still saw him.
I still saw him. I was snapping him and all that. And but yeah, he one of my favorite artists. And so congrats to him because he also took away a Grammy, and it was pretty fun. And so besides that, I do want to give one birthday shout out. But my
Okay.
best friend who I've had since God, we met at like 6 years old,
Oh
probably
my
6 or 7 years old. And after all the like things that the world has gone through, and after everything that you see in the world and friendships that get lost, I'm like so lucky that she's still my friend till this day.
Wow.
So I want to wish my best friend Angel, who lives in Virginia, and I want to wish her a happy birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday, Angel. Hopefully, we get to
Yeah,
put a name to a face
I
and we get
know.
to see you soon.
I know. We're gonna get her to Texas soon. She'll come. She'll come.
Hello.
Hey, Kristy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? So welcome. We're so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, same here.
So I'm Marisa, and my co-host is Canela. Her real name
Canela, yes.
her name is Elisa, but we call her Canela because she has a
I like
vin
Canela. That's super cute.
yeah, isn't it? She has a vintage
Yeah,
store. She has a whole vintage store here in San Antonio. That's
I
on.
know. I'm gonna go on her page and start looking at some stuff. I think I kind of want to order some stuff off of there for a
Oh,
photo shoot.
girl.
Yeah, she
So
has some good. She finds. Let
Welcome
me
to the
tell you.
show.
No, she finds some good stuff. She does. She finds that real vintage.
nice. Not the replicated vintage.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh. But no, we are really, really humbled that you are joining us on Girl Talking Mas, and thank you for
Oh, my
taking the time.
pleasure.
Taking the time. We instantly came over to your page and we both were like when we talked to each other because I said go look at her page and because I already checked her out and I'm already like loving everything about her and Elisa went and looked at her and she was just like oh my gosh like I like left her page like feeling like empowered and
Empowered.
stronger and like
Oh.
and I think it's the way you we were just saying it's the way you deliver it. Like you tell it like it is and you say what
Mm.
people need to hear sometimes. And I think that's where your motivational speaking comes in, but we'll get to all that. But we kind of just want to know like about you. Like tell us about you, where you came from and what kind of got you to where you're started at now.
And are you sure
Yeah.
that you're not related to J Lo?
I've been hearing that. No lie, it's so funny. Like I started hearing that when the movie Selena came out when I was really young,
Uh-huh.
and then as I got older, it's become like literally, I'm telling you, like 5 to 10 times a week, and I just laugh because I'm like, oh, thank you for the compliment, but I wish,
Yeah.
but it's just so funny, because everywhere I go, I can't escape that. So now I just embrace it. I'm like, thank you so much.
That is so funny. Yeah, we
I'm like,
noticed
she's
that right away.
papaya for sure. Something of J.
Her cousin or something.
It's
Yes,
like the
but tell us
Latina
about
attitude.
yourself. I
Well, I
know,
was
right?
born. I was born in Pearl Valley. I've been in San Diego since I was like 3 months old, so I'm a San Diego native.
Mhm.
And I fell in love with radio a long time ago. Just as a young girl, I wasn't able to. My parents were very strict, so I couldn't really listen to the radio. So
That's
it
how
was
I
like
was
this
too.
taboo of the unknown. They were
Mhm.
very strict Christian parents, and there was no music. Certain music wasn't allowed. Radio was definitely not allowed. So it was always like this world of the unknown to me.
Mhm.
And as I got older, but what I loved about radio was just the fact that you could reach, your community people through the airwaves, and they had to resonate with your voice because they couldn't see you. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
it was
Yes.
very much like you had to be able to impact them with their voice. And growing up, I was bullied like all through school,
Oh
all through,
wow.
yeah, it was insane how bullied I was. And so I had a really low self-esteem. And so it was kind of like, growing up, I was a late bloomer, all these different things.
Mhm.
So I took all these different pieces of me that have been chapters of my life. And when I got introduced to radio, it was actually done as I did mainstream radio back years ago, probably like 15 years ago now. And
Wow.
it was something that I just fell in love with. I had an amazing opportunity. I
Mhm.
came on. I had an amazing experience with it, but God closed the door. And when He closed the door, I was like very sad about it, cried about it, and I didn't know like if it was going to come back. So
Mhm.
life went on. I started doing, red carpet events. But I always had this passion for radio and for speaking. And when I started to get involved in speaking, it was because someone said, Kristy, you have such a great story. Can you
Mhm.
talk about it? There's been lots of changes in my life. Just to kind of give you guys a nutshell of what has transpired,
Mhm.
there was a really big journey behind me. And so there's been so many changes that have gone in my life that have given me the ability and the material to speak on because it's taking different portions. So when I looked at the motivational speaking, when I looked at all this love of radio, I was like, okay, there is something here. I have something here. There's a gift that God has given me to
Mhm.
speak. Whether it's behind the mic, in front of the mic, there's something that's pulling me. And my big focus was I wanted to empower women that we are not what we came from.
Yes.
If I was every experience that I went through, man,
Mm-hmm.
But when we allow God to be able to be part of our story, not even part of it, the creator of our story,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter like how the chapters that we go through because we come out where we're supposed to be. So the
Exactly.
Oh
more
my
I took
gosh.
confidence in that,
That's
I was
huge.
like, the more I took confidence in that, and I was like, okay, God, like this doesn't look the way I want it to look like. It's been one just turn and twist after another. But
Mm-hmm.
show me the tool that I'm supposed to use to reach the women that are feeling what I'm feeling. I went through just so many different things. A turbulent custody divorce. I
Mm-hmm.
went through, I came out about who I was in a relationship with, and my family went up the. I mean, there was so many different
Yeah.
chapters.
Yeah.
You know, Stay tuned for the book because it's gonna be
Right.
it's gonna be a crazy one because it was like there was so many of these chapters in me, but I had to learn what the purpose was in each
In
chapter.
each one,
And I
something meant
feel
some.
like
Each one meant
yes,
something. Mm-hmm.
yes, and every chapter brought me to a different audience. It brought me to a different environment, a different culture. So all these different things that have lined me up along the way, I can see God's footprint in all of it.
Oh, it's
And
beautiful.
I'm like, wow, okay, so now you're giving me the opportunity to go speak in a prison. God, I don't feel qualified for this,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
he's like, no, you're going. Now you're putting me on a panel with the school board. I don't feel qualified.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're going. So all these things. So as I started to get these experiences, I learned that, what? It wasn't ourselves that qualifies us. It's
Mm-hmm.
something greater. When we have a purpose in life, no matter how we run from it or we think that we're not qualified, it comes back and it comes for us.
Yes.
We don't have to, like we don't have to chase it because as long as we walk in it and we stand in it and we embrace it, it comes to us. And so the more I started to kind of go through this journey, I'm like, okay, when I'm ready to come back into radio, it's going to be because I'm coming back with a purpose. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be because I have something to say. It's going to be because I'm going to bring in individuals that have a story to tell. So fast forward a couple of years ago, about maybe 4 years ago, I started producing my own independent radio show. It was called The Journey Untold with Kristy Salazar,
Mm-hmm.
and
Cool.
I did it for 3 years, and I brought in some
Wow.
amazing guests, and it was an empowerment show. It was incredibly amazing, but I felt like, you know what? Okay, now other doors are opening up. So I took that, and I was like, okay, God, I'm going to put this baby away for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an opportunity to do the Fix in Los Angeles, and that's on Dash Radio.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so I started doing that with Nick Hamilton and Jason Fields. And we just have a great collaboration. But again, going to the fact that things, when it's your purpose, it will always come back to put you in the place that it's supposed to be. So when I started in this little independent station,
Yeah.
in this little room where I'm telling you, my mic was probably back from the 1960s. You know,
It's vintage.
it was
It
vintage.
was
It was vintage
vintage.
all the way, Canela. It was vintage, so vintage. And I was like, but I saw the vision and I said, okay, God, like bring this full circle, bring the pieces together. I don't know what this is supposed to look like, but I know that when you're willing to do what you love doing and you
Mm-hmm.
believe is your purpose and not get nothing monetarily from it, and you still feel so fulfilled, that is what you're supposed to be doing because
Oh,
it's
I
not
love
about the
that.
check. It's
I love
not
it.
about the check.
It isn't.
It's about
Yeah.
the
You're right.
character.
Mhm.
It's about the character. It's about what's developing in you. So when I sit back and I was like, okay, God, I don't know what's happening with all this, but you gave me an opportunity to get back into radio. You obviously are letting me hit the airwaves. I don't care if it's one person I'm reaching or a million I'm reaching.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever
Beautiful.
it
Yes.
is that I can do to inspire that one woman or that man that's sitting there and asking himself, where is my life going? Why have I gone through all this? If I can reach that person on
Mm-hmm.
whatever platform it is, let it be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? And that was really where I was kind of like, how do I take this to the next level? Doors opened, and Los Angeles opened up. So now, thank God, I get to be on the Fixxx every Wednesday,
Yes. Every
you know,
Wednesday.
every Wednesday, 12 noon, and then again at 11 p.m. at night. And
Oh,
we
that's
discuss like
awesome.
sports, politics, pop culture, but it's always going to have one thing that you'll always hear with my voice. It's always going to have the underlying of empowerment, motivation, and inspiration.
Yes, and I think Elisa, that's what we talked about when we were going over everything for Christy, that we just felt like that empowerment is in every message that you post, we feel like.
Yes.
I'm thankful that my brand and my name is co-signing with that, because
Yes, it
that is
is.
really what I want my legacy to be. Like at the end of it all, I don't care what mistakes I've made. I don't care what my life has looked like to anyone else. If people can just look at it and get a sense of empowerment from it, whether it's the good chapters, the bad chapters, all of it,
Mhm.
I just wanted to serve as like, look, this was a human life, and the reason why I want to empower others is because I know that that's what I needed.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think that everybody resonates at different aspects in their lives with
Mhm.
that aha moment of
Mhm.
like this keeps coming through. Like, why? Obviously, I'm kind of good at it. Maybe I should pursue it. And it's that we saw your Instagram and your page, it was like, this is the voice that every female needs to have.
Yes. Mhm.
This is the
Mhm.
voice that every female needs to feel confident to use. And I feel that we need more. We need to unite our voices, and we need to spread that, because I feel like when I was 13 years old, 12 years old, if I could have heard somebody tell me a positive message like that this doesn't have to be my situation, I
Mhm.
think I would have made it a lot different decisions.
Choices.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's very powerful. And I think you're doing a beautiful job. And that's why you're on the show, because we wanted to hear about
Yeah,
it.
we needed to hear that, and it's incredibly moving. One of our quotes that we really resonated with, that you have on one of your posts is, life has been an ever growing, evolving transformation, and when I felt like the whole point of life was just to survive those tough moments, God began to teach me to soar. He began to prepare me to fly higher than ever. That is
Mm.
so
Hmm.
moving.
I can
Turn.
hear the tears in your voice, because I remember at the precise moment I wrote that, because I
Oh,
felt like, with every chapter it seemed to get harder,
yes.
ladies.
Yes.
It was just so hard. It was like, you know what? Why can't I just be in love with someone, fall in love with someone, and not anyone and care? Why do I have to be fighting for my children? Why do all these things have, like, these battles? And I'm like, I've been fighting God since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, when does this end? And so there was this place that I came to, and I was like, okay, like, little did I know that when I was on my knees broken, that you were gonna start building me like a foundation that was so strong that I could never have imagined. Like, I never would have imagined that this foundation that you've been building out of brokenness, like, I wasn't built from anything great, but it was because he was going to be great in me,
Yeah.
not because I was going to be great. And he had to take that from something that was so broken and so just didn't even know, like, where the pieces were. They were just scattered. And when I wrote that post, I was sitting there and I was like, wow, God, that it is beautiful how you
Mhm.
have turned, how you are continuously transforming, not only just, it's kind of funny, like, when you look at your Instagram
Mhm.
or your social media, and you look at your different phases, right? You look at hair phases,
Yeah.
clothes
Yeah.
phases, right? As women, we look at that. Like, when you look at that and you look at that journey, it's so crazy to see how you evolve, just in style wise, in hair wise. And it is what it is. It's not even just that you're evolving aesthetically, physically, any of that. It's truly a transformation that you're going through, but so many times we see it through photography versus, like, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. But
Yeah.
when we look back at it, we're like, oh my gosh, I was in this phase. Ooh,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know, why did anyone correct me?
Why didn't
you
anybody
know,
stop me?
yes, like, there's some things I look at and I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me, Kristy, no, that color is not good. No, like, but it was because you had to learn to grow in yourself, but again, that goes back to the transformation. And so when I wrote that post, I had been sitting there throughout the day and I was like, thank you, God, for not letting me give up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. In my darkest moments, when I was ready to throw in the towel and say, okay, life, you win, that you let me hold on to this little piece of something.
Mhm.
That you let me hold on to this little piece of something, that you reminded me that I am yours. Above anyone else's, I am yours. So I had to hold on to that, and
Yeah.
that's what allowed me to write that post, because I was like, look, had I given up, I wouldn't have experienced the things I'm experiencing.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay, love. So tell us a little bit about your boys. You have three handsome boys. How do
Yes.
you
Yes.
juggle your boys, career, travel, love life, friendships? How do you stay in the zone?
You know what? Balance is, I'm learning this word, divine balance.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Yes, divine balance. And I got to give it to you. I believe it was Kenyatta Griggs who writes the hip hop motivation. He was in studio with us, so I want to give him credit for that because he mentioned something about divine balance. And when he said that, I was like, God, that is my quest.
Yes.
You
Find
know,
that.
it's
Find that.
really, yes, it's really hard because my boys are my oldest is 21. He just joined the army.
Oh.
My middle
Oh
one,
wow.
yeah.
My husband serves
So
as well, so
oh,
yes.
really?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
so I'm
does.
going through the transition of like boot camp right now and like being away from him. He's a
It's
mama's
so hard.
boy. Yes,
Oh
I've
yeah.
cried. I've written letters. I've gone through the motions. So that's my oldest. My middle one is 19, Isaiah. So oldest is Anthony. Middle is Isaiah. He's 19. And then the baby is Christian, and he's going to be 16 this coming month.
Aw.
So it's a very, they know they do not have just an average mom.
Right.
They have, they
You're
have a
not
mom.
basic.
Their
No,
their mom
no,
is on
mama's not
10.
That's a
basic.
basic mom.
No, mama, I'm gonna have to put on this shirt. Mama is not basic. They've been just so kind of, they've allowed me to just grow.
Mm,
They've allowed me to just, my babies are my everything.
yeah.
And they have allowed me to just grow. And what I mean by that is that they have always embraced whatever chapter of life I'm in. And I'm grateful for that because there's no bigger feeling a mom can have is knowing that your children ultimately love you.
Mhm.
And,
Yes.
we strive for perfection and we strive for all this, trying to make the perfect moments and everything. And just to feel like, they love me. They love me, they understand me, they get me. A little sometimes more than others, but they're on this journey with me and
Yeah.
they've just rode the wave with me and they've been able to just embrace all of me, whether it means mom taking us to LA, whether it means mom doing stuff in San Diego. And they've just been able to really allow me to feel like I can grow, like I don't feel like it's been a balancing act, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful, I've had an amazing partner in life who has, when you see me at events and when as the kids were getting older, when you saw me at events and doing things, it was because there was someone taking care of home for me.
Mhm.
There was someone, my partner Liz was amazing. She's been amazing. She's been the force that was able to allow me to do things where, I'm balancing mamahood and being out in the public eye.
Yes.
And there was
Mhm.
a whole lot of an imbalance sometimes. When you're doing like 5 events, in one week, so there is a balancing act. But when you have someone who kind of leverages it out, it's a blessed feeling, and I feel like I got to raise my children with someone who was able to be there,
Oh, that's
who
so
was able to
beautiful.
be there, and that for me was important. That for me is you have to, when you have children, you have to have someone who supports you,
Yes.
and even if they don't, it doesn't always come across as support the way you see it, there's support in other ways, and when mama's away, someone has to take care of stuff,
Mhm.
you know? So
Exactly.
it really is a balancing act, and I couldn't have done it without having that, because even though I could sit here and I could say, oh yeah, I did it all on my own. No, I'd be lying,
Yeah.
So it's very much finding someone, key people in your life that are able, and that's why I say so much about labels. People want to label everything,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have to be labeled because you don't know where that support, you don't know where that person is going to come into your life and who that person is going to be. So you can't be so quick. People can't be so quick to label everything. And I just feel like if you have that person who gives you that support, for me, that is what allowed me to really be able to balance mamahood.
Mhm. And then
Because
to grow.
mamahood is
Yeah.
difficult.
That's beautiful. I'm so glad that
Yeah.
you found that in your life and you found your true happiness and your balance, all in one. Put it all together to have in your life. That's
And God is above all. And ladies, this is the biggest thing I can say. Above all, God is honestly how you balance everything out.
yeah.
Because if home is not, if it feels unbalanced, something's not right. So you got to go back to the drawing board and got to
Yeah.
say,
Mhm.
okay, how what needs to be restructured, what pieces need to be juggled and prioritized. And I think as women, we want to do so much, but we forget that if it's unbalanced, it's not a good sign.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
definitely.
We're like taking all this in, just so you know. We're like sitting here like, I know this
I
one.
hope
I
I'm
know
not
that.
giving you guys too much.
No, no, no. We're just like,
No,
oh
you're
my God.
dropping knowledge on us, girl.
Yeah,
Let us
we're just
know.
Okay.
like, I'm like going through my life right now. Like, what did I miss? I.
Chapter 12 is kind of questionable.
No, but no, but
But we
thank.
really appreciate you
Yeah, for
sharing
sure.
with us and being on the show with us. But we did want to talk to you a little bit about Dash Radio. If you can kind
Yeah.
of just tell us what
Yeah.
was like your biggest moments that you remember, and a little bit of more about it.
Yeah, because what I love
Huh?
about Dash Radio is that it's not your average hip hop station.
Nope.
It's your real hip hop station,
Mhm.
which I'm like
Mhm.
I grew up in Detroit, so I came from everything Motown hip hop. Like that's what I grew up on. I always tell Lisa, my first concert was Public Enemy. I was 14 years old. I went to Public Enemy and Heavy D and the Boys. That was my first
Oh
concert.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I used to listen to Run
Super
DMC
kick
on.
ass.
Yeah, I used to listen to Run
You are
DMC.
hip hop
I
royalty.
know.
You are into the hip hop royalty.
Yeah, so please tell us the whole existence behind Dash Radio.
Well, Dash Radio was created by DJ Ski. It's been around, I believe, for over 2 years now. I recently came on, like I said, one of the gentlemen that I do the show with the Fixx, Nick Hamilton, had invited me as a guest. Kind of just the chemistry was there. I was doing a show in San Diego with Jason Fields, and we were doing Wealthy Lifestyle Radio here in San Diego. So when we went up there, we realized kind of what a common vision, what we have, and that's where the magic of the Fixx was made.
Mhm.
And Dash Radio has various stations on there. Snoop has a station on there. So there's a lot of different diversity on Dash Radio. It is a digital platform that pretty much can cover and does cover any genre of music.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
love
you
that.
have from old school hip hop to, shout out to Kevin James. He's amazing. He is a staple in the radio industry. If you ever Google him,
Mhm.
Kevin James, he's amazing. And so he was someone who also was part of Dash. So all these different pieces to Dash came together. And like I said, it really is a platform for a different type of radio station. Because individually you have stations within a station, which is amazing because everybody has their ability to showcase their personality, whatever their music type is.
Yes.
There's over 1 million listeners with Dash, so you definitely have a really big audience. What I love about the Fixx is that when the whole magic of the Fixx came to be, what I loved about it is the collaboration between sports, politics, and pop culture. Because if you really look at like kind of how life and how people come for their entertainment information, it's really segmented in those three things. I
Mhm.
mean, you can have all these sub segments, but it's pretty much those three
Those
things. It's
three
either
things.
politics,
Yeah.
pop culture, and sports. Like if you look at what people are generally interested in.
Mhm.
So the Fixx offers that. It offers, exclusive one-on-one interviews. We've been able to interview the Game, Baby Bash. I
Nice.
mean, the list goes on, and we are a baby when it comes to the station.
Mhm.
So the fact that we've been able to have such amazing opportunities on the forefront of what we just developed is it's inspiring and it's motivating because it's like, okay, we're just starting. We're just getting started. They are
Mhm.
just going to begin to see the Fixx. So it's kind of
Yes.
like, and I feel like Dash Radio is giving, individuals as myself, as other, the gentlemen that I do the show with, they're giving us a platform for true independent radio. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like being able to, so many times there's so much confinement when it comes to
Yeah,
radio.
it's not
And I
censored.
feel like Dash is changing that.
Yes.
It's changing it. It's uncensored. So it's allowing the freedom back in radio. And it's giving, the younger generation something to really look at and look at as a station. And I feel like that's why it resonates so much with the multi demographic
Mhm.
because anyone can come to Dash and get something. I can pull up, the Fixx is on Dash Talk, for instance. So I can pull up Dash Talk and get some amazing talk radio programming, or I can go on to like Fuego, which is like the Latino channel, and get some amazing Latino music.
Oh,
So
nice.
there's
I might need to
something
check
for
out
everyone.
Fuego.
Yeah,
It's,
really.
it's hot. It's hot. You know that cleaning music that your mama, your grandma used to put on, like when you were like Saturday and they'd
Yes,
be
the Saturday
cleaning.
morning cleaning
Yes,
music.
Yes.
yes. That's that.
Música de
That's that
Tatiana.
fabuloso. That's a fabuloso music. When
Yeah.
they serve you.
Love it. Oh
So
my
yeah, there's something for everyone on Dash, and that's why I feel really blessed that we were able to to have the Fixxx on Dash because it is a really multi demographic and a just diverse platform. So when you have something like that, and the interviews that we get, we want the exclusives. What I mean by that is that we want real interviews.
yeah.
Sometimes people go into interviews and they tell you what they just think you want to hear. No, we get stories out of these guests that we're like, oh my goodness, you
Mhm.
know?
The real
So
stuff.
it's kind of like, yeah, the real stuff. And when they tell us, it's like because they feel comfortable talking to us because we make it such a real down to earth feeling. Like when you come on the Fix, you're gonna get your fix, and we're gonna leave you coming for some more.
Yeah. I
So
Ah,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
if you didn't
Oh.
know, now you know.
Yes,
Yes, if you
definitely.
didn't know, now you know. And being the only girl on the show is an adventure in itself. Like, they be coming at me sometimes, like, because, I'm the kind of girl, I will mix it up. I will have my hair curly one day, and then if I fix it, think, oh, like, I'll throw a weave in and call it
Yep,
day.
yep.
And they crack up
You got your
because they're
braids
just like,
in. I see you with your braids, girl.
so they're always calling me. They're like, man, one minute you come in with short hair, the next minute you got like 22-inch weave in. I'm like, I sure do, and I
Yeah,
rock
and
every minute of it.
exactly. Rocking it
and
for
and that's
real.
that's the beauty that I bought it. Do whatever
Exactly.
I want.
And that's the balance of having like a masculine and feminine energy together because men speak one way and women speak another way.
Yes.
So I feel so privileged and I feel so like it's really cool being part of the all boys team, what I call quote unquote the all boys team,
Yeah,
because it takes a certain kind of woman to fit into that world,
it
you
does.
know.
And there's
Handle
not
them.
many. There's
Yes,
not there's not many
yes.
out there, so you are sitting in a, so quote unquote man's, hip hop world that's ruled by the,
Male dominated.
yes, it is. It is, and there's only few radio broadcasters out there that are in the game, under the hip hop umbrella,
Yeah.
that know their hip hop. So so that's amazing, and we also loved all that about you too. So we are so happy to have you on the show, and we're even more empowered that you are sharing your message with everybody that listens to us, that listens to Girl Talking Mess, and we are so excited to promote this interview that we had with you because it really has made a difference in our lives in just the short time that we've known you. So it
Oh,
means the
you know
world.
what, ladies, I am just, I thank you for that. Like, I'm honored, like, at the end of the day, what I really want my life legacy to be is, what, like, she was willing to be transparent
Mhm.
and she was willing to really just lay it all out there, and so other people didn't have to feel like they were alone.
Yeah.
I think that's really what I want it to be is, that's why I'm so, I'm transparent with my life. I put things out there. People be like, well, one minute is, and I'm like, the reason why is because this is a real life. I'm
Yeah.
living a real life. I'm not living a celebrity life. I don't want a life just in front of the cameras. I want to live a life that, what, there's going to be good times, there's going to be hard times, but what keeps me in the game? What keeps me focused? What keeps me balanced? Because if I can give that hope, if I can inspire and empower someone else to get through the test time, you know what? I did it.
Yes.
I don't want much more than that. I want to know that my life set an example to empower someone else to where they're currently at, whatever they find themselves at, whatever chapter it is, that
Mhm.
it's not the final chapter. That it's not the final chapter because sometimes we look at life and we're like, it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look or the way I want it to look. So people are so quick to just throw in the towel. And
Mhm.
it's like, no, there's so much more. There's so much beauty on the other side of the rainbow. Like, that there's
Mhm.
so much. If you just get past the storm, if you learn to be still, if you learn
Yeah.
to be still and really be present in the chapter you're in, whether it's tough, whether it's hard, but be present in it and gain whatever knowledge nugget you're supposed to get out of it. So the next chapter comes, you're more empowered by that former chapter.
Amen,
Yes, and
girl.
So
I think that's the key of empowering. It's like I don't care about what you've done. Like, what knowledge, what seeds are you planting to our future generations of females? What can you leave in this life as a legacy that
Mhm.
they can reflect on and use it so that they can make decisions and use the tools that you did, so that they don't make the same decisions, but they can make better ones
exactly.
and bigger
Mhm.
ones for future empowerment of females. And we
Because
appreciate
think
you being
about
on the
it.
show.
Yeah, because think about it. Like if we would have, if us three women would have made different choices, if you know what I mean, like life would have taken different, different roads.
Yeah.
But we were supposed to make the choices we made, but it wasn't for us. And I think that's what people need to realize.
Mhm.
Your story is not for you. It's
Right.
not about you. It is about someone that's going to take something from your story. But if we don't learn to speak our stories, then they're gonna die with us. So we
Mhm.
have to speak on them, because then there's a younger generation that's looking at us to say, okay, tell me I'm not alone. Tell me that someone cares about. Tell me that this is temporary. So we have to be able to be women who are willing to be transparent and vulnerable and speak about those moments, so some other person can say, okay, you know what, I can do this too.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Aw,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you
Kristy.
so much for being on the show. Girl Talking Mas sincerely appreciates your time. Like, honestly, thank you so
Oh
much.
no, I thank you guys. Like I said, I thank you guys. I think that real recognizes real. So
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, baby. That's how it is. Well, we wish you all the best, and we're looking forward to that book. And we're please let us know if there's anything we can ever help you promote if you're doing anything special. But we're obviously going to be tagging the Fix and Dash Radio. But why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you and where they can listen to you and keep
yes.
in touch with you?
Oh my, good information. You can find me on Instagram at Kristy Salazar 123. My Facebook is Kristy Salazar. The Fix Audiocast on Instagram as well. You always get tagged in there. And
Perfect.
tune into the Fix. It's on, like I said, Dash Radio every Wednesday, 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, and then again every year at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much, beautiful. We appreciate you more than you know. More than you know.
Aw, thank you so much, love.
And don't be
If
Okay.
a
anything,
stranger. Hit us up whenever you like. And if
Yes,
you
yes.
ever want to be
No,
on
we'll
the
be
show, you
yeah,
have
we'll be
something
in
to
touch.
say, yes.
I
Thank
don't
you
plan
very
on I
much.
don't plan on being a stranger, trust.
No, girl, you're stuck with us now.
That's all right. I don't mind
You're
having
part of our
family in
tribe.
Texas.
Yeah,
I don't
yes.
mind being part of the tribe.
Yeah, when you come to San Antonio, you have a place to stay. You know that.
I'm in love with Dallas, so I'm gonna have to head over to San Antonio next. So
Yes,
yes,
you
so
do. You got to come and check out San Antonio. You're gonna love it here too.
I sure will. I'm part of the tribe. I'll take the nomination. I definitely will.
For
Aw.
sure. All right. Have a
Talk to you
great day,
soon, love.
okay?
Thank you.
All right, love. Have a great day, guys.
Okay, bye.
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 Bye. Guys, we really want to thank you for joining us this episode of Girl Talking Mass. As you can see, Kristy's message is so empowering. We want you guys to just take it all in, listen to it again if you need to, because we're gonna have to listen to this a couple times to even get everything she just told us. I don't know,
She was
Akanela.
phenomenal, very inspiring,
Yes,
and honestly, if you're gonna want to follow her after this, she's just such a treat to have, and we really enjoyed having her on the show. I was like, I need to take down notes because like
yes.
one of well, I guess I could say one of the biggest takebacks that I took is because we're moms and we resonate with what she said with
Mhm.
divine balance, and I think that's just like it just hit me, and I feel like when she said it, like she needed to hear it whenever she heard it at that moment, and I
Mhm.
feel like today when we spoke to her and she mentioned it, like she could have said anything else, and
Mhm.
she mentioned that to us. I feel like we needed to hear it and our
It
listeners
was meant
needed
to
to hear
be.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was meant to
So
be. So
it
we
was
all
it
need
was
to
such a
find.
treat to have her on the show.
It really was. Yeah, we all need to find our divine balance. But thank you again, Kristy, for joining us. We really, really appreciate your time. And you can follow Girl Talk Kimas on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Girl Talk Kimas. And we'll see you next time, guys.
Chat soon.